Welcome, everybody. How you doing, Heidi?
I'm super excited to be back. It's been so long since we've done a Facebook Live. I miss Facebook people.
I'm sorry. I took Friday off and, didn't do a Facebook Live since. I don't know.
I know. Well, actually, it was before that because I don't think we did one on Thursday either.
You're probably right. I was super busy. I think you were pretty busy too. Yeah. Okay. So for those of you tuning in, this is for hiring managers, HR managers, recruiters, business owners, people that have cell phones ringing in the background.
Don't mind me. It's recruiting.
We have a massive inventory sell-off going on right now. So let me give you some context of what's going on, what's led up to this. Utah just made the news for 2020 for the highest amount of population growth, like 18%, which is crazy. So you got a lot of people moving in. Salt Lake City ranked #1 for more jobs than there are job seekers for the top 53 metro markets in America. Ogden made #1 in the country for metro markets under 1 million for more jobs than there are job seekers. And what that translates to is a very competitive market. It is a job seekers market, right, Heidi? It's not
Absolutely.
It's not an employer's market. It's not job, people that are hiring. It's job seekers. This is their market right now.
They get to pretty much say what they want, and then the companies just kind of work around that.
Yeah, and the cost of labor continues to go up, and unfortunately, it's not an equal. You're not increasing the cost of your supplies to your vendors. You're not selling things at a higher price. It is what it is. Labor costs are going through the roof, and you can choose as somebody that employs hundreds of people, what you can handle, right? A lot of companies are just running as lean and as green as possible, and they don't have any other choice. They just don't have a choice to move on their wages. Other companies have gotten creative and have moved on their wages. And, just because of the opportunity costs that's out there, when you're not producing the product and you're not getting it out to your customers, you're losing revenue. So you can either lose, $1 million, $2, $3, $4 million in revenue and overspend by $70,000 on your labor. Let me try that again. You can overspend $70,000 this month on your labor and get $5 to $7 million in revenue from your product getting out on time, or you can underspend. You cannot spend. You can just not increase those wages and miss $5 to $7 million in revenue. I mean, it's a double-edged sword, Heidi.
Well, and one of the things that you just mentioned is that you were mentioning it this month, but there really is longer-term ramifications for this. If you're not able to fill your customers with those supplies that they're requiring, then it can hurt you in the long run. They're going to go to a different business, and maybe that's a smaller company that, they've got the workforce. They've got the opportunity there. They're willing to bump up their wages. They're willing to do what it takes to get you that product. And because of that, you're going to become more loyal to one of those other suppliers. And then you're going to lose your customers long term, or at least lose a portion of that revenue long term. So it doesn't just have this short term, month by month, don't overspend this month. Do I overspend? It's not even on a month to month basis. This really does have long term ramifications with it.
What a great point. That's a great point. We see this in our own industry. People are reaching out to 6 or 7 different providers when they only had one, because the one wasn't getting the job done. And you probably, to Heidi's point, you have vendors that are maybe putting up with the delayed orders, the backstock, the late shipments, but for how long? Who is your competitor? Getting one up on you? Are they increasing their wages? Are they getting creative with what they have to get the product out in a more timely fashion? I don't know. It's something to look at, because if they are that loyal customer, you might lose that customer.
Well, there is also the flip side to that as well, Steven. When you are able to supply your company with the things that they need because you have the workforce that it takes to get those supplies going, those customers are going to talk to their friends, other business owners, other people that are struggling with their suppliers. They're going to talk to them and say, hey, look, my company is going through the same thing. This is a pandemic. My company is going through, or my supplier is going through the same thing that we're hearing over and over again, but they're delivering.
Yeah.
So then you have that opportunity for additional companies to come in and even more growth for your company.
Yeah, absolutely. So that brings us full circle to what we're going to discuss today, and that is we have people coming in our doors, Heidi, every single day that are telling us, look, with my experience, I can't take less than $18 an hour. With my clean background, like, you know, my work ethic, I'm here to work. I'm here to make a career out of a light industrial position, a forklift position, warehouse, shipping, receiving. I've got the experience. I know I'm worth $18, $20 an hour. And they're not getting that through a lot of staffing agencies. They're just going straight to, you know, the 40 different companies in Northern Utah that are paying at least $18 an hour for even just entry level positions. So these people with experience are making even more. And so, you know, we've kept a head count, and we have at least 65 that are fully qualified. They have experience in light industrial. They are career minded. They are hardworking. They've got a track record of being, you know, having punctuality, of showing up day in and day out, being loyal to their companies, and they're the people that when you think, what is, you know, when you ask yourself as a production manager, HR manager, you know, what does a high performance team look like? What's a lean manufacturing team look like that's efficient, that gets the job done, that can be counted on day in and day out? What does that look like, right? And if you, I know you can picture what that looks like. So what you need is somebody that has the experience, that brings that to the table, that has a proven track record of dedication and hard work and can get the job done. And you have to pay for that. If you want that experience, you're going to have to pay for it. And I don't think there's any other way of you know, explaining is you get what you pay for, and which is hard to hear, right? Like, I mean, every company, this is like, there's a small percentage of the market that is very progressive. They know how to hire for skill and talent, but everybody else, they say, I want a $20 an hour employee at $14 an hour, right?
Right.
It's unrealistic, but that's just how the market is. But it's not how it is here. We, again, over 40 companies that I've kept track of that are major employers in Northern Utah, paying $18 or more an hour for entry level positions.
When we are seeing that, we did show on one of these lives not too long ago how before it was that $15, $16 an hour pay range was getting that 80% of the market. And in that 80%, you get to be selective about who those really productive people, the loyal people, you get that choice because you're going
to get experience.
80%.
Yeah,
exactly.
You're paying for the experience.
Yeah, and we are seeing in that survey, it did show to get that same 80% or maybe even just to 88%, you are having to go up to the 18 an hour.
Yeah.
You're showing with that to get that same candidate pool coming in.
Yeah. So if you're new to hiring, if you're new to using staffing agencies, you know, this next segment's for you. You know, if you're having a challenging time finding candidates, keeping candidates, but you have a pretty good wage offering, like we discussed, you know, I want you to take into consideration all the time you spend hiring somebody, training, doing all the workman's comp costs and payroll taxes and all of that, and then just to lose somebody a week later can be really frustrating. We did a recent study. It showed that your average hiring manager spends 23 hours hiring one candidate. One candidate, Heidi.
Well, and that's just what you're paying your HR manager to find that one candidate is 23 hours worth of work. If they're making, you know, 25 an hour, even on salary, 23 of those hours are going towards just hiring somebody. That's not even putting in the factor of dealing with the problems within the company itself or making sure that the people, once they're hired on, are staying with the company.
Right. And the cost of hiring is just more than just a base wage, right? You have advertising costs, job boards, those are just getting just enormous,
ridiculously priced.
Yeah. Then, you want to do assessments. We've got companies that every candidate they want to consider, it's a $250 assessment they want them to take. That gets pretty costly when you want to bring on a dozen or more people. Health benefits, perks, paid time off, payroll administration. I mean, that in itself is just, it's not fun. Payroll taxes, unemployment. I mean, you have to, with all the unemployment claims that happen out there, you almost need like an unemployment firm to represent you to take care of all of them, because it could consume your entire day just for a couple people. Luckily, we do that. We hired one of those. Workman's compensation, of course, and how do you put a price on your time? And so when you're considering, using a staffing agency, if you're unsure, definitely give us a call. We can walk you through the flexibility of a staffing agency where you don't have to do all of this hiring. We do it for you. We have a streamlined process, and you get to try before you buy. Essentially, you get to see the associate in action for 90 days before you choose to hire them on. It's a pretty fun process. So if you,
I think that's a really good point that you put in there, Steven. Real quick, I'm just going to backtrack.
Yeah.
But being able to try out that associate, not every associate's going to be a good fit for your company, and you can spend all of this time trying to hire somebody on, but once they get hired on and integrated within the culture of your company, you can find that that's not a good fit, or they're not working well with the other associates, or they're not working well with the supervisor. Not that they're not a good worker. I mean, they've got the history in there. You wouldn't have hired them in the first place if they didn't have that resume, if they didn't have that experience. But them and their personalities not fit with the personality of your company. I think that's something that a lot of people, after going through that whole hiring process, they're like, okay, well, let's see what we can do to work with this into the company, rather than through a staffing agency. You get the opportunity to try out that candidate, even if it's just for a couple of days, couple of weeks, and you get to see what that person is actually like on the job, how they deal with the stress of the job, how they deal with their coworkers, their supervisors, how they deal with management. And you get to try out that associate before making that long-term cost commitment to them.
That's a great point. All right. So just to wrap things up, we have candidates, qualified, experienced candidates that will not take anything less than $18 to $20 an hour. And we've got a lot of them out there. They are people that are not unemployed. They are working at an existing company, and they're looking for new opportunities. And maybe that opportunity is with your company. Maybe you can offer a better path to their career, but you have to be able to offer the wages. So send me an email if you'd like to review our top candidates out of that list. Just in the subject line, just type in help. You can call me, 801-621-2770. You can call Heidi. What's your number, Heidi?
435-750-0886, or just Google Elwood Staffing.
Google Elwood Staffing. Use the Google machine.
Google it. You're unsure, Google it.
And again, if you're struggling right now to meet your customers' needs and you need the people, the inventory's there, but it's just priced at a much higher level. So definitely consider. You don't have to change the wages for your entire plant. That's very costly. It requires a lot of approvals. But hey, if you got a shortage of 10 to 15 people, I bet you can make the case to hire 10 to 15 people based on their experience. Give them that higher wage. It's not going to upset the apple cart. It's not going to, your plant's not going to, declare anarchy on you. It's very easy to say this person was hired based on and being paid what they're paid based on experience. That is very plausible. It's very normal. I mean, think about it. You were hired a little bit higher than your predecessor because of your experience. You got paid a little bit more. It's a normal practice in the hiring community, in HR. And so it's not that far-fetched of an idea to say, I'm going to bring on 15, 20 people, 10 to 15 people, depending on your operation, at a higher rate because of their experience.
I mean, people hire field experts at much, much higher rates all the time to help with their current industry. So,
yep. Okay, with that, that's all I've got, Heidi. You got
That's all I've
anything?
got, Steven.
All right. Well,
Comments
again,
till the end. I say it while we do this.
we're promoting at Elwood, design your perfect job. Pick your days, pick your hours, pick your pay rate. That's a real thing. And so if you're a job seeker, you're interested in finding the right fit for you, give us a call. And I'll end it with a promo talking about that. Are you going to narrate?
Do you want me to narrate? Can I?
Let's see if it lets you.
Yay. Elwood Staffing has the job that will fit your schedule and your needs. Start out by calling us and we will help you design that perfect shift. Whether it is that you're looking for the right income, the right hours, or the right days, we've got you covered. Call us today at 801-621-2770 or visit us at Elwood.